Coming up next on VCU InSight, I'll have an exclusive interview with head coach Shaka Smart, where we'll talk about this upcoming basketball season.
And while you may start to see drink specials being advertised by local restaurants.
And we'll see how VCU is helping students from other countries celebrate Thanksgiving this year. This is VCU InSight.
And it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Emily Satchel.
And I'm Philip Marcello. Thanks for joining us. A tough week for VCU basketball. The team lost 2 of 3 games in the Puerto Rico tip-off tournament.
And dropped from a number 10 national ranking. The Rams started the season strong, winning the first 3 games over Illinois State, Virginia, and Winthrop. The Puerto Rico losses dropped the team out of the top 10 in both the USA Today Coaches Poll and the AP Poll. However, VCU is now ranked 24th in the Coaches Poll and unranked in the AP Poll.
Before the team left for Puerto Rico, head coach Shaka Smart joined us for an exclusive interview.
InSight's Vernon Freeman sat down with Coach to get his thoughts on the team this season.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us on VCU InSight.
Thanks for having me, Vernon.
So, the season's been great so far. What are your expectations for the season?
Well, I'd love to win every game, but you know, you want to play the best you can each time out. You want to get better. We've got a lot of young guys. We have 9 players on our team that had never played a game at VCU prior to November 8th. So just getting those guys more and more comfortable with what we do and how we do it and who we are.
Now, you mentioned a lot of the young players. Because of that, how big a role do you think their development will play in the team's success this season?
A huge role, yeah. We're going to need those guys. And we only have 6 guys that played for us last year. So for the guys that are new to our program and new to college basketball, you know, typically they struggle early in the year, but we have some young guys that are playing pretty well right now and doing some things to help our team. They just got to keep getting better and understand the intricacies of what we do.
All right, recently the team played UVA in a really tough game. You won with a last-second three-pointer. What do you think was the significance of getting a win like that versus a top 25 team on the road?
Well, you said it. I mean, that's tough to do. In fact, VCU had only won 1 such game in the history of the basketball program, I think 1994 against Louisville. Other than that, the program was over on the road against top 25 teams. So it was a big step for our team, and so that's a win that will help us down the road. You know, hopefully in March, you know, they're looking at us for the NCAA tournament, and that's a win that people will talk about.
As far as the players, do you think their mindset is any different now that they're no longer underdogs, but they're actually favored to win almost every game they play?
We still find a way to be underdogs, Vernon. That's just who we are. You know, at VCU, we have that mentality that we have a chip on our shoulder and we still have something to prove. But certainly people are gunning for us. You know, people would love to take us out because we do have a national ranking and we have gotten a lot of attention. So we need to be aware of our opponent's mindset as well as the mindset that's going to bring us success.
Now, recently it was announced that you signed a contract extension through 2028. Now, obviously, a lot of teams have shown interest in you in the past. So why was it important for you to show a commitment like that to VCU?
I love it at VCU. You know, my family and I are happy here in Richmond. The best thing about VCU to me is the student athletes I get to work with every day. So, you know, those are the guys I want to be around. And, you know, I enjoy our program. I love our coaching staff, being around those guys. So, you know, I keep telling people, maybe you can help me spread the word, Vernon, this is a place to be.
And now, Coach, you have an amazing 90% win percentage here at the Verizon Wireless Arena. What is it about this place that makes it so difficult for teams to come in here and play?
Well, the winning percentage is great here, regardless of who the coach is. I think since the building opened in 1999, it's something like 86, 87% winning percentage, which is 10 or 12 percentage points higher than when the games were played at Richmond Coliseum. We're very, very fortunate to be here. You know, I tell our guys, this is a quote I stole from a coach named Jack Clark. that we need to be extremely appreciative of our crowd. We're not entitled to a sellout crowd, but we're certainly grateful for it. And you know, I think we're very, very fortunate that no matter how many games we play this season and for the foreseeable future, every single game is going to be sold out, and that's just very, very rare in college basketball.
Now this season, the NCAA adopted a new rule which prohibits defenders from hand checking. And we've kind of seen the impact of that in some of the games this season. Do you think this rule is going to affect or hurt the Havoc style of play at all?
No, but if they keep calling fouls at a high rate, Vernon, we're going to pull you out of the stands and put you on the court. Guys foul out, but
hey, anytime.
You know, I think it's actually something that can help us. In a recent game against Winthrop, we shot 48 free throws. So I think with our offensive style, we can really be aggressive and get to the foul line quite a bit. Defensively, it's certainly something that we have to be aware of. We have to play with more discipline, but we have the capability of doing that. You know, what we did, Vernon, early in the year is we brought officials into our practices a couple times a week just to give our guys a feel for the way the game was going to be called, and I think that's helped us.
You talked about it earlier, kind of like the young players and all that, but throughout the past 3 seasons at VCU, you've made the NCAA tournament, and you made it to the round of 32 all 3 seasons. Where do you think the team now ranks in the landscape of college basketball teams?
Well, so early in the year, I think we have the capability of being, you know, one of the better teams around, but we have to keep getting better. You know, I think the teams that improve on a week-to-week and month-to-month basis between now and March, those are the teams that are going to make deep runs in the NCAA tournament. Are we a team capable of that? Definitely, but we have to keep improving. We have to understand that the team goals are more important than individual goals. I think sometimes when you win, there's a tendency for people to feel like, okay, now we're winning, so I can think about myself. But what's most important is that we focus on the team and what the team needs. And if we can keep that agenda front and center, then I think we have a chance to do some really good things.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Basketball season is an important time for local restaurants like Baja Bean, which has been in the Richmond area for over 10 years. InSight's Joel Rhodes is in the newsroom with more. Joel?
Thanks, Emily. Restaurants around campus are packed on game nights, but it wasn't until the team became nationally recognized. One of the popular places for VCU basketball fans to hang out is a little restaurant on West Main Street called Baja Bean. Jeff Alums has been the owner of Baja Bean since its opening in Williamsburg in 1989. In the latest AP poll, VCU's basketball team was ranked number 10 in the nation. It is the first time the Rams have entered the top 10 during the regular season.
Oh, it's high energy, that Havoc energy when the VCU game is on. It's really enjoyable.
And moments like these can draw big business to restaurants like Baja Bean.
Well, we have 30 games in a year. You know, each one of those things has, you know, added to that My Winters Now, which used to be like a ski resort in the summer, nobody around.
Baja Bean was not always packed during the winter season. Before the Rams basketball team made in the Final Four back in 2010, business was slow. And with the success of VCU's basketball team, Alums' business has increased. Alums does not have specific day-to-day profit numbers, but in his words, more people means more sales. And on basketball nights, there are a lot of people.
During the Final Four games and the NCAA's last year, we reached capacity, have a line out the door.
VCU junior Michael Fedonovich has been watching games at Baja Bean for 3 years.
Oh, the game night crowd is just rowdy. It's usually a really good, high active environment, and everyone's hanging out, having a good time.
The fire code at Baja Bean is 262, and with the new patio, Alums hopes to increase attendance on game nights up to 240 people. That means more Havoc for everyone. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Joel. One of the team's starters is a transfer from Florida State. He's in the studio today to talk with InSight's Nana Bonsu about the start of the season.
I'm here today with VCU's men's basketball starting forward, Terrance Shannon. Thanks for joining us. So you just got back from Puerto Rico. Tell me how that was, because I know you played your former basketball team, Florida State University. So how was that? Was there tension or was it more emotional for you?
Well, it was kind of a little bit of both. I mean, going against my old team, like I said, those are guys I grew up with throughout my maturation process at Florida State. All of them now are under me, so I mentored all of them as they came in as freshmen. So, I mean, just the bond that we have is just real strong and it's just unbreakable. So, I mean, just being around those guys, talking to them again, it made me feel good that they was playing well and doing well this year.
And was that the first time you saw them in a while and spoke to them, or you speak to them on a normal basis?
Well, I talk to them on an everyday basis, but this is the first time I've seen them since the transfer. But, I mean, I talk to them all the time, mostly about just life, not about basketball.
And speaking of your transfer, can you please explain that to us? Because people don't understand that you are actually a grad student. So how are you in grad school and still playing at a college level?
Well, only because my junior year, I tore my labrum in my left shoulder in Bahamas when we had a tournament out there. And I only played 7 games that year, so I was eligible to get a red shirt for 1 year, so I ended up coming here for my 5th year.
Okay, so it was the injury that made you eligible to play 1 more year. Okay, so now you're at VCU. What made you choose VCU? Like, was it the coaching staff? Was it the environment? What was it?
It was a little bit of everything. I mean, Richmond is big on VCU basketball. Like, they love this environment. Everything surrounds basketball, and it's just a wonderful feeling. It's a basketball environment, which I love a lot. The coaching staff, everything is very supportive. You know, they prepare you for not just basketball itself, but for life after basketball, which means a lot to me since this is my last year.
Right.
And Coach Smart is the type of coach that when he recruits you, how he is during the recruiting is how he is when you get here. It's like what you see is what you get. So that meant a lot to me.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about the grad program. So what actually are you studying?
I'm studying Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness.
Okay, and I know most grad programs are like 2 years. So how are you going to be able to complete a 12-class program in a year?
Well, I've had to speed the process up, which is very difficult because right now I'm taking 5 grad classes. Next semester I'll be taking 4, and then I'll take 1 over the summer, and then I'll complete it.
So you're hoping to graduate in May or in August?
I think around August.
So you're going to take a class that summer so you can, okay. And before we end this very quickly, what are your plans after this? Are you thinking about going professional, going overseas, or maybe using your degree to start your career?
Right now it's still up in the air. I've been debating on doing something with my undergrad. I've been debating on doing something with my master's, and I've also considered basketball at a professional level, wherever it may be. So, I mean, it's scary not to know what's going to expect, but I mean, it's good to have options. So then I put myself in a good place. So whatever comes my way, I'm ready for it.
Well, good luck to you. I've been speaking with Terrance Shannon, a starting forward for the VCU men's basketball team. Terrance, thanks so much for being here today.
Glad to be.
How did it go this time?
This year was the 36th running of the Richmond Marathon and the first one held since the bombings in Boston. As a result, what's known as America's friendliest marathon tightened its security measures to ensure safety. 7 months ago, the city of Boston was rocked by 2 bombs at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. The attacks killed 3 people, injured over 250, and changed countless lives forever. As this year's Richmond Marathon approached, security was of supreme importance. Richmond police say they have new secret security measures, but did confirm the number of officers, both uniformed and undercover, greatly increased. But the police weren't the only organization to make changes.
One thing in particular that we did was require anyone checking a bag at bag check to use a clear plastic bag.
Following the bombings, hopeful Boston Marathon qualifier Brad Crosby was initially taken aback.
It makes you wonder with any of these big events, do you sign up for them? You have the self-preservation thing kick in that, hey, I want to stay away from any of that stuff because I don't want it to be me.
Although the bombings at the Boston Marathon changed security measures here in Richmond, runners like Crosby say they will not let it slow them down.
No matter where you look, there's something like that going on, and you just have to, you can't make a big life course correction every time something like that happens.
With over 6,100 running the marathon and over 19,500 total participants, Stoneburner believes attitudes like Crosby's were a big reason for the record turnout in Richmond.
After what happened there, the sense of community I just know is incredible, and there are so many people just that can't wait to get back there and can't wait to be part of the next Boston Marathon.
The event was certainly a success for Crosby as he reached his goal of qualifying for next year's Boston Marathon by completing the Richmond course in just 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Customizable wristbands are coming to a Walmart near you thanks to a local student. VCU graduate student Tumi Oradane was announced as the winner of Walmart's Get on the Shelf competition for his wristbands called Scribs. The wristbands allow users to write whatever they want using a dry erase marker. As the grand prize winner, Walmart will sell the product in all of its stores and provide marketing and support to the company.
VCU is offering a shuttle service to help students who plan to travel this holiday season. The service, called Ramaway, will carry students free of charge to the airport, train station, and bus station. The shuttles will run between December 16th and 20th. Pickup will be in front of the Cabell Library. To sign up, you can find more information on the VCU Parking and Transportation website.
It's beginning to look a lot like winter in Richmond. Downtown Richmond's outdoor ice rink is open for the season. Located on Broad and 6 behind Center Stage is RVA on Ice. Rental skates are available for use, and to keep warm, there's a fire pit. Holiday music and Christmas lights are on display for holiday cheer. The rink will be open until January 20th.
A bill will come before the General Assembly in January that affects the people who rely on feeding tubes for nutrition. The goal is to provide a little financial relief for these families. InSight's Paisley Winkler is in the newsroom with more. Paisley?
Thanks, Philip. Right now, medical food such as feeding tube formula is not covered in the state of Virginia, and it's quite costly. Come January, a bill is hoping to change that.
What could be called Zeke's bill is named for Zeke Ka'alam from Virginia Beach. Zeke looks like any 3-year-old boy his age, but what you can't see is that Zeke can only get his nutrition from a feeding tube. He suffers from eosinophilic esophagitis, or EOE. It's a rare condition where white blood cells attack food as a foreign object. Zeke was diagnosed last year.
It's a very complicated disease. We now have a routine that's pretty set.
It's a routine that costs $55 a day because medical food is not covered by insurance in Virginia.
It's crazy because it's medically necessary. It's not like I'm asking to put a nose job on my child.
But the community is reaching out, providing more than $25,000 to assist in the family's medical costs, and has gathered more than 300 signatures in support of Zeke's bill.
And the support has been taken to the Capitol, with newly elected House Delegate Glenn Davis as a potential bill sponsor.
If there was a pill that Zeke could take before he ate that would allow him to be able to consume food orally, that pill would be covered by insurance. But there isn't, unfortunately. He has to use the formula, but now that formula is not covered. So we're just trying to create a kind of a fairness issue in the state.
Zeke's bill will come to Richmond when the House returns in January. If passed, it will join 15 other states with similar laws. You can learn more about Zeke's journey on his Facebook page. Back to you, Philip.
Here's a random fact. Richmond is the 3rd most tattooed city in the nation, according to the Today Show. The RVA Tattoo Arts Festival took place at the Richmond Convention Center November 22nd through the 24th. Richmonders lined up to get tattooed by artists from all over the nation. The convention also featured contests, vendors, and selling prints and other merchandise.
Our 21 and older viewers may be excited to see some new advertisements heading their way. After an 18-month-long review of regulations, Virginia ABC made the decision to allow restaurants to legally advertise their happy hours. Although the regulation has not been signed off by the governor, some people are wondering if this change will affect happy hour forever. InSight's Sierra Jarrett has more.
Happy hour is a time for good laughs and cheap drinks.
I love it because I'm a broke college student, so it works out really well.
But the fear of excessive drinking led to a regulation change in 1985, causing the advertisements of these cheap drinks to be a misdemeanor crime. But Virginia ABC recently went through an 18-month review of their regulations, making it legal for restaurants to advertise their specials, but not their prices. Becky Gettings is the Director of Public Affairs for Virginia ABC and says that this new regulation can work in the favor of restaurants.
I think it helps any retailer to let their customers know of specials and things they are interested in consuming.
Kona Grill is a chain restaurant located in Short Pump, known as the best happy hour in Central Virginia by Virginia Living magazine. The general manager says that this new regulation wouldn't change what they do for happy hour specials.
I don't know that it behooves us one way or other to say, oh, now by the way, our Bud Light is only $4.50 or whatever, $3.50 at happy hour. It's not the main driver of the business that we do here in this restaurant.
And it's not just chain restaurants. The locally owned tobacco company in Shackel Bottom agrees that this regulation will not greatly change their business.
We've got a loyal base of people that come here, and we're confident that that will continue no matter what the direction of how we can say happy hour changes.
A change that some business owners see as a wasted effort. For VCU InSight, I'm Sierra Jarrett.
The change will not take place until Governor McDonnell signs off on it, but the expected date is by the end of this year.
It's the end of an era for renting movies for one major chain. Blockbuster will be closing hundreds of stores in the upcoming weeks. It was bought out by Dish Network and has struggled to stay profitable. The last Blockbuster in Richmond off West Broad Street is shutting its doors. Only 500 stores nationwide will remain open. The stores have not been identified. Blockbuster isn't completely going away, though. Customers can still rent movies through Blockbuster kiosks and digital streaming.
You may not know its name or history, but if you've been to Church Hill, you'll definitely know it by sight. The Libby House sits across from the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, and for the first time in 40 years, it's for sale. InSight's Rebecca Hayslip reports.
Across from one of Richmond's first parks, Libby Park, the house stands 3 stories high at Libby Terrace and North 29th Street. The home was built in 1851 and is located in the historic Church Hill neighborhood, the first neighborhood in Richmond.
These beautiful old homes that were built up there at a pre-air conditioning era, again, because of the breezes that were there.
In 1864, Robert E. Lee stood on these steps in front of the Libby House to address the loss of the last railroad to the Union. Jenny Dotz is the realtor for the Libby House, who specializes in selling historic houses.
So if you want to connect with the past and, feel a part of the continuity of 400 years of Richmond history, you do that through these houses.
And the family that did this was Carl and Mary Corley, who taught on the VCU medical campus. The Corleys lived in the Libby House, where they raised 2 kids, and the family has worked hard to preserve its history.
Preserve it, so we're trying to preserve some of the house. It's in quite good shape, and we got it, and we've kept it up.
There have been several groups looking at the 6-bedroom house that is on the market for $798,000. But you can't put that price on the history that is in it. For VCU InSight, I'm Rebecca Hayslip.
Several historical groups have looked at the house so far, but no offers on it yet.
Last week, a record number of pets found a home for the holidays. Richmond City's Animal Care and Control held an event that allowed almost 90 animals to be adopted for a reduced fee of $100. This holiday promotion was an opportunity to relocate the animals for the recent $2.6 million expansion that began at the shelter last April.
And finally tonight, most of us spent Thanksgiving with family and friends. But imagine being in a new country with no family and really unsure of what the holiday even means to Americans.
InSight's Paula Chavez shares how one family provides international students with the American experience during the holidays.
Rashawn Almashal came to the United States from Iraq just 3 months ago to be an engineering graduate student at VCU. It's his first time here, and this will be his very first American Thanksgiving. Almashal says he doesn't know much about the holiday, but is excited to experience his first American holiday.
Actually, I don't know a lot about the Thanksgivings, but as I heard from my friends, there will be food or something like this.
Through a VCU Global Education program, 80 international students are invited to take the opportunity to experience American culture with families like the Hudgens. This Thanksgiving marks 14 years since the Hudgens began welcoming international students into their home.
I think that goes a long way to developing an understanding of our culture, to get to know a family firsthand. to celebrate a holiday with them, to understand why we celebrate these holidays.
Dawn Hudgens says they have developed great friendships from the host family experience.
They call us, we call them, email. You know, it's just, it's like the chain is never broken. We might not see them for 3 or 4 months, and it's just like, you know, most of them feel pretty comfortable, so it's like family.
A family from all over the world. For VCU InSight, I'm Paula Chavez.
For more information on how to become a host family for international students in the future, visit www.global.vcu.edu and click on Students Connections. Well, Emily, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was great. I ate enough for 12 people. How about you, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, had a big old turkey, watched football. It was a great day.
That's what it's all about. We hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving, too. That's it for this edition of VCU InSight. Make sure to check out our website at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Philip Marcello.
And I'm Emily Satchel. We'll see you next time.